Hey, you guys. Hello, and welcome back to my versus me podcast. In today's episode, we are talking about Am I in a simulation? And I am joined by Chanel, who is a metaphysical practitioner, as well as CJ, who is and has an extensive background in religious studies, who gives us his take on mainly Christianity. But so we kind of explore different topics, and I'm just a constant student of all of this, and consider myself relatively a newbie here, just trying to dive into higher consciousness and learning more about the space. And so we come together, ask questions, and kind of just debate things together. So today, as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about are we in a simulation? So we're just going to get right into it and kick it right off. What do you guys think? Are we in a simulation?
Facts. Yes, facts.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I, f- I feel like personally, in order to have a simulation, you need a matrix. You
Hmm.
need a program. You need it to be foolproof. You need to be able to update it as you see fit
Hmm.
for the collective. And then the projection of the simulation allows it to work and you get to see how your masterpiece works. So yes, I think that the way that society is set up and the way that we handle things on a daily basis, we are doing it because there's a program that's set in place for us to participate in.
And do you think that program expands throughout the galaxy, the universe, even?
I've never considered it like that.
Hmm.
I think that the program that is the matrix, the zeros and ones, the because if you look at the definition of both, they should we go over the definition of both?
Yeah, let's do
Should
it.
we
Let's
do
do
Sure,
it.
yeah.
that? Should we
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So I have the definition of a matrix. Let's start there. So I just Googled this.
Hmm.
I didn't find this on no fancy nothing. I just Googled what is a matrix, the definition. And it says a matrix is a rectangular array or grid of numbers, symbols, or expressions arranged in rows and columns. Used extensively in mathematics and computing to solve systems of linear equations. Matrices allow for compact representation and manipulation of complex data, such as transformations in computer graphics or large data sets in machine learning. That's a very long, like loaded
Definition.
definition.
Yeah.
However, it's essentially just a program to solve problems or to create and represent manipulation of complex data. So basically, you get to use this system to
Manipulate the data. Yeah.
manipulate data. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So a
Uh,
simulation. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say you got to pay attention to the machine that gathers the data, keeps the data, shows you how to use the data, and how it correlates to how it's used when it comes to our human experiences. So apparently, the data is being used along with our human experience to do what? Either manipulate us or to move us in a desired goal or pathway. I think so. I think simulation surely is occurring, whether we are aware of it or not. Definitely believe it is.
Mm.
I definitely believe it is.
Yeah, yeah. So what is the definition then you have for simulation?
So a simulation is the imitation of a real world process, system, or scenario, typically using a computer model to analyze, train, or predict behavior. It acts as a safe virtual alternative to dangerous or inaccessible real life situations, allowing users to test variables and see outcomes. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
can see where that definition definitely requires a computer. That simulation argument definitely requires a computer to compute the information
Mhm.
that is placed in it in order to apply it to whomever, whenever, or wherever, when it comes to I know it's not just trains and planes and transportation and it probably can be applied to every any and everything, can it probably? Would you think?
I mean, yeah, and most definitely religion. Like if you think about
Mm.
here, okay, if you think about how predictable Christians can be in the sense that they think a certain way and they prescribe to like a certain model of thing. Or you could say the same thing, I guess, for like um for any religion, really. They're predictable, right? You know how they think, you know what would set them off. And if you know that, then you could set up different things to like, I mean, I really don't
Trigger.
want
Trigger
Trigger.
them,
Thank
trigger
you.
them to
Thank you.
respond and react in the way that you already have studied and know that they'll follow.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, then you
Mm-hmm.
are definitely manipulating the masses of people to follow you because, well, number one, you know you can, based on the theory probably
Yeah.
that they have aspired to all their lives throughout many generations, especially when it comes to religion. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if here's the deal though, what about the absurdities of Christianity? What about that?
What do you mean?
By absurdities I mean, what about the fact that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and
Mm-hmm.
then God loved man, and He loved man, and then before He gets out of the first book of Genesis, before He gets out of that books, He hates He's created man, and then He said Jacob He loved, Esau He hated. How can God love one and then hate the other? Then He turns around and says, "I'm going to destroy this man that I created and start over." So He sends a flood to destroy mankind. Then He tells Noah to build this boat. And Noah builds this boat and he preaches for so many years and nobody gets saved. And then Noah turns around and the flood comes, the people are drowned, and nobody's saved. He has his own family. Then after the flood, he gets drunk. According to the narrative, Noah gets drunk and then he commits an ancestral act with his own child. And then you turn around and now God is angry. He said, I hate every created man. I'm going to start over and I'm not going to destroy him with water. Next time I'm going to destroy him with fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild and that's crazy. And they say that's God in the old covenant.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like to me an angry, very angry God. He didn't
Yeah.
like who he created. He wanted to start over. And then he's going to destroy this man with water. Now, the next time he's going to do it with fire. That's an absurdity. That's an angry God.
So do you
That,
think that's part of the simulation? Do you think that's the simulation narrative being spouted to get you to react a certain way to manage the outcome?
well, let's stick with the simulation. Let's keep the narrative going. If I can convince you to believe in an absurdity, or if you believe that was absurd, what I said, some people don't believe that was so absurd. Some people believe God did
Really?
do those things. Yeah. Some people believe
I
God
believe
did do
it.
those things.
So-
And then he's going to come back and destroy us, this whole man, again with fire. Come on now.
Okay, let me ask you, what makes you think that that's absurd for God? Like from your own perspective, what makes you feel like
Because I
there's no way?
honestly believe that God is love. I don't think he ever has been hate. I don't think God ever wanted to destroy man. I think there's evidence that something happened to our planet. When it happened, I don't know. We know a generation of dinosaurs were affected by it and all those things. And according to the narrative that they have written down,
Hmm.
they talk about Noah and all these things are talked about. But if God is love,
Hmm.
then why would God love Jacob and then he hate Esau? Why would he do that? Why? That sounds like a God that's angry. And he has two components, not just love, but he also is a God of hate. And then he's also a God that wants to destroy his own mankind. Now, if that's part of this, if we believe that narrative, then what's next? Then if we don't believe in that God, then everybody who believes in that God, who are they following? Who emulates the angry God today that we see? What leaders look like that angry God? If you don't do what we tell you, we're going to destroy you.
Mm,
Huh?
mm,
Are they
mm.
working the simulation or what? Huh? Huh? If you don't believe the way we believe, we're going to eliminate you and throw you in prison forever.
And that becomes
That sounds like
and
an
that becomes
ass.
justified behavior.
that sounds like the simulation is working if you ask me now.
Wow, that's interesting.
Could
Now,
you
now
not?
you gasped there.
What do
Why,
you
why'd
think?
you gasp?
Well, I guess because so I don't know the stories of the Bible
Hmm.
at all. Like I know what I know, and most of them I have zero clue. Right. So
Hmm.
when it comes to metaphysics and the simulation, and recognizing that within the simulation there people see angel numbers like 111,
Hmm.
777, 444. That's numerology.
Right.
There's lots of different pieces of what they teach us, like the different occult studies, astrology, numerology, metaphysics. There's herbalism, even. There's
Yeah.
so many different pieces of all of these things that once you can get a specific grasp on them,
Hmm.
things just start to make sense, right? So I
Yeah.
don't. When I look at things like when you were just talking about the story of Jacob and Esau,
Yeah.
did I get that right? Okay. Speaking about that, there's something about that story that says this I love, this I hate, which
Hmm.
for me looks like the opposite end of a spectrum. It's like here and here. Very it's the same thing, but it's varying degrees of the
Sure.
same
Hmm.
thing
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
just a frequency. It's just where you see it sitting. And when you said that, that peaked in my mind as, man, there's stories that I don't know that I can legit hear and say, oh, so this was love and this is hate. And this is, for instance, this
Hmm.
is Aquarius and this is Leo.
Sure.
Hmm.
They're on the same like line,
Hmm.
just one is here and one is here. They're total opposites. They're 6 signs away from each other.
Hmm.
So I know that there's been talks that the Bible has different um like where they start, different some people
Hmm.
say that it's a medicine book. Some people say that it's astrology. Some
Hmm.
say all these other things. It's a book of numerology if
Hmm.
you look
Sure.
at it from these different perspectives. So I
Yeah.
just, when you're saying what you're saying, it makes sense because if if God says this and if God does this and if God is love, God is not hate.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Like that's not what the messages that God, sends or projects. They don't work with that. So it just I see different things in it and I'm like opposites, different spectrum,
Yeah.
different night, day, sun, moon.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's a part of the simulation. Like if you can see this part,
Yeah.
then you can balance it with something else because the universe
Hmm.
is
Right.
balance.
Yeah.
The right and wrong, they cancel each other out. There's just doing. It's just varying degrees of the same spectrum. It's just based on how you see it, how you perceive it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was very interesting.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it seemed like the balance has to come from love for the universe, because that's part of the balance of the universe. It works collectively as a whole with us as we are one with the universe. It can't be a part of hate. It can't be divisive and divisive. It has to be unity and strength and love. But the narrative that they have talked about, I'm not trying to get away from the simulation, but it seems as though the narrative that they want you to follow, or the simulation they want you to follow, God's angry, God's mad, he's upset, he's going to destroy man, he's going to come back and he's going to destroy him again, not just water, but he's going to do it with fire next time. And then there's this place called hell. Jesus never even mentioned hell. Never mentioned hell. He only mentioned Guyana, which was the park. It was where a trash heap where they burnt garbage and trash. But now it's a park in Jerusalem. It's just a park with palm trees and everything. He never mentioned Gehenna or sending us, his creation, or mentioning his creation going to hell. But yet they have the narrative that God, quote unquote,
Hmm.
is going to destroy man and send man to this place if he doesn't align with his narrative of who he is. And that's the
Mm.
crazy thing about it. Because if you can believe in absurdity, you can commit an atrocity, as we said once before.
Hmm.
If you don't believe like I believe, then if we can convince you, we're gonna destroy these people who are not like us, or don't believe like us. That's not love. That's not God.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Any leader that destroys his own people or destroys uh, um, a certain facet of people, a certain group of people, a certain race of people,
Hmm.
we all know that that ain't good. That's not God. That's hate and division. That's not love. So if the simulation is working, then who is it working for the most?
Okay, okay. Let me ask this question then.
If we're not getting off the subject.
If the simulation is made, we're theorizing we are in a simulation, but God created this world. So are we saying God created the simulation?
I personally think man put his 2 cents in this, and he
Hmm.
put in his theory and his equation about who God is, who we should
Okay.
follow. And you got to read the Bible was written about Jews, to Jews, for Jews. It wasn't written for nobody else. It was
Hmm.
for Jews, not us. But because, according to the narrative, Jesus went to his own and his own didn't receive him. So he engrafted us in. He calls us Gentiles, who he said, now my covenant is available to you because my own don't even want to receive me.
Hmm.
So now we have men who wrote this book about God. They created the narrative to get you to believe in this particular type of God with these particular behaviors. And if you follow this God, well, this is, according to the OT, this is the God we want you to follow and want you to serve. And then they create all these laws for you to follow in order
Hmm.
to do what? In order to be accepted by God that they talked about.
Yeah,
You'd have to follow.
I
You have to
definitely feel
follow.
like there's been a disconnect there.
Sure, sure. It's because man put his. If the Bible says the Bible was written by men who were inspired of God, but I think it was written by men who wanted to write about, who were inspired to write about God. I don't think they got every word that God stated right or correct. I don't believe they did. I
Oh
believe
no,
they've
of course
missed it.
not.
They've missed it by a long shot when it comes to the narrative that they created, the things that they say that they've said about God. It's wild and crazy. But hey, who are the most people now who are following this quote unquote God and this quote unquote leader or leaders around the nations or the world? Who are they following? Who is their allegiance to? An angry leader, a dictatorial type leader, or is it to a more balanced, a more peaceful person type of person? So has somebody been using simulation and gathering information in order to follow and get people to believe a certain way? Or using programming in a certain manner or mechanism to in order to what? Manipulate nations of people or groups or bodies of people to do what? To move in a certain direction that they want them to, you think?
I mean, I think it's possible for sure. It goes back in my head to if God created this world as a simulation with pure intent, and over time it got corrupted by man, then God said, all right, I gotta send my son back to let them know about themselves and know that they have power and dominion in this space. So then Jesus comes back and informs us of that, and then we know that kind of gets convoluted a little bit there, or a lot of it there, and then now we're on where we are now, where we're feeling like the second coming is a second coming of consciousness, where we're rising up and becoming more aware. So I guess in terms of simulation and how Christ fits into all of this, it sounds like it's in a way for us to not be blinded by the simulation of man. Maybe. Am I understanding that?
The
Yeah. I
simulation, go ahead now.
No, I'm rocking with that. I can definitely feel because when it comes to the things that we see, the things that we are participating in, like we're here right now because this started off as a thought. right? It
Mm-hmm.
started off as a thought for Uncle CJ, like, hey, I want to do this. I want to learn more about this.
Mm-hmm.
And because you and I, Rita, got on board, we said, yeah, like, we're here. This is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
It manifests into this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So everything that we are doing, because no, I don't believe God created the simulation. I think that we have access these to the things that we're looking to create so that we can create our own, because we have our own things that we create. Like everything inside your home is programmed for you. It should be programmed for your greater good, for your level of consciousness. Anyone who
exactly.
comes into into your simulation, your space, then they get to feel it feels different when you go out into work or into the grocery stores or on the streets, and everybody's driving around and it looks like a computer grid, like the inside of a computer. When you pop open a computer, that's what a city looks like.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm,
hubs for everything, like we see it. It's there. It manifests into the computer. That's where you see your screen, like we're seeing our pictures right now. We're
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to record and hear each other. So I don't think, then maybe God did create the simulation. Or maybe he just gave us access to the simulation.
well, he certainly gave us the right to make a choice within this simulation, free will.
Mm-hmm.
But but even Jesus came against his own people, and he said, "You let the mind be, and you let you have to don't be conformed to the way the world does things or the way it programs, but
Mm-hmm.
you be conformed to the way I spoken it to you. You reprogram your mind, that this same mind being you that was in Christ, that was in Jesus. You have to think differently. You have to elevate your thought process into what is working for you versus what is not working for you. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds so much like higher consciousness. Like, even when you just saying you reprogram your mind, you can't listen to the world around you because this world, because of free will, people have choices to make it into a very corrupt simulation that we now have to fight against. And so it is God saying, like, hey, you use your head here. I've given you all you need to understand this and to be over this, but you need to tap in, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I hear every time whenever you
Yeah.
say that. It's like it's literally like he told us, you have higher consciousness here. I need you
Yeah.
to know that and like
Yeah.
and walk by that. I don't
And
know.
well, it should be a program within each of us, according to the Holy Spirit, that will help us to identify what program we should be a part of versus what we should not necessarily be a part of. If I'm saying that right, every
Hmm.
every simulator requires a computer.
Our
So we would
minds,
say, yeah, yeah, your mind
our
is
minds, our
Yep.
bodies, we are walking, talking computers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
O- Okay, so final question then. If we're in a simulation, then what is outside of the simulation? What do you think?
Bliss,
Wow, wow.
Bliss.
bliss,
Bliss.
Uh,
heaven.
Heaven. Heaven's outside of this. Oh,
it's
interesting.
got to be everything that we've ever thought the better part of mankind would look like, be like, act like, and have. I think as a part of a universe, it would be so much further than what we're experiencing now. I think, and we've made strides. We've made strides in this world as far as what we've accomplished, what we've done, what we've uh, what
Yeah.
we've created. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
we've made strides. But imagine if the limits are taken off, what would it look like?
I mean,
Bliss.
I think there are people out there with the limits taken off in terms of like I think I mean, I'm one of those people who believe in life on other planets. I just don't think this was where God stopped, in my opinion. So I do think there's people out there doing a lot more than we've gotten around to doing. And
Advance, yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah, sure,
Way
yeah,
further ahead. Like if you
yeah.
think about it, we're just a baby in terms of
Mm,
like the things. Like our imaginations are wide and vast, and we have been creating things to mimic that. But I think there are other civilizations out there that are light years ahead of us, I would venture to say. But outside of all of the simulation, yeah, I would agree with y'all. It's probably bliss, happiness, and
Mm,
peace, and like, yeah, I don't know.
It's
That's a whole,
indescribable.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
indescribable. It's not really a
yeah.
word. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a an inner just balance and peace and
mm-hmm,
harmony.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. The scripture says, "Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has it entered into the minds and the heart what God has prepared for those who love
mm,
Him." So
exciting,
it's out of this world. I mean, and we're in this world, and we've done some things, but it's even greater than anything we've ever done or set our hands to now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Let us know in the comments below if you guys believe we're in a simulation or you think maybe not. I don't know. Curious to know below, and we will see you in the next one.